Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. I am, of course, Nick McDaniel, and as always, I'm joined by my buddy Myron.
Hey, folks, how y'all doing tonight? I'm doing great. This is the first show we're recording in the new year, and we're recording on New Year's Day. Our third year of recording. We recorded in 2008, 2017. Did we get a show in 2016, or is it 4 years?
Well, we've been 2.5 years, so I mean, yeah, because we started in the summer, so this would be the third New Year's ish.
Third year we're recording. Hey, congratulations, Nick.
Well, man, it's been a hell of a ride, that's for sure, man.
I have never had this much fun in my life, man.
Yeah,
And I thank all the people that have facilitated that. I think my chair's actually gone down a little bit.
you're good, brother. You're good, man. Though.
I think my ass actually pushes the piston down in the chair, so it doesn't matter. I'm not Tony Schiavone, and I can't have my chair higher because I weigh too much for this dead chair, apparently.
I just want to be high enough. I just kind of for the shirt purposes. That's it. Otherwise, that wouldn't matter. So
I can zoom back, or I don't know. I kind of like it sitting right up here. You get to see more of my beautiful face.
yeah. Plus, we hear you better when you're scooted up close. So there's that.
Yeah. Once we get the new audio stuff down here in the old studio, we're gonna have some massive sound going on.
Awesome. Well, guess what, man? So, what did you get? Okay, first of all, we were trying to do this early because we want to catch this Georgia game
3 hours.
first and foremost.
3 hours before the game comes on.
So we're going to try to get this all in before the UGA Texas game. Plus, dinner's ready; it's waiting. So there's always that. So that's a positive. But let's go, man. Okay, look, let's just cut through all the chase. Right, there's nothing more anybody wants to talk about right now because at freaking midnight. I unfortunately don't turn off my, I don't do the whole do not disturb thing, which really ticks my wife off when like people message me at like 10:45 midnight.
It could be Cody Rhodes.
And, Cody Rhodes and the elite, the young bucks, they're all posting shit. And I'm like, what the hell? I mean, because my phone's going off from Twitter and Facebook and everything. And I'm like, oh, geez, I'm trying to sleep for crying out loud. And of course, we hear the big, huge news. All Elite Wrestling is finally official. Midnight last night on Being the Elite YouTube, they make the huge announcement. So before we dig into the details of it, first and foremost, man, just some thoughts on what do you think of All Elite Wrestling finally being official?
I'm excited. They've got unlimited funding, basically, and they've got a Rhodes at the helm. I'm not a Bucks fan. It's not nothing against the guys, but they've got a lot of people involved. I mean, you look at the picture they posted. Let me pull this up that I was looking at earlier, and it's got Christopher Daniels and Hangman Page and Brandy, and I think it's Frank Kazarian. Is that him?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the black guy in the picture? I can't remember.
He's with the Kazarian and Daniels, and they're that SoCal group or whatever.
Okay.
In Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I don't want to Ring of Honor, but I recognize most of our faces. And you got Cody in his suit there on the picture, and they're having a rally. It's a very well timed rally, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, the big announcement was, obviously they confirmed, the whole AEW Double or Nothing, with the video where they had it on their phones, and Hangman Page had the AEW. But of course, really, that's all we got. January 8th, 5 p.m. Jacksonville Jaguars home stadium in the parking lot. That's where you're going to kind of get, I think, the big press conference, the big, pep rally, call it what you will, of what we're going to get with All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing. But like you said, they timed it perfectly. Just down the street, a little bit later, SmackDown Live is going to be running the show, so you're already going to have a concentrated group of wrestling fans kind of in the area. They're not stupid. I mean, we'll tell you that right out.
Well, they got a lot of money and a lot of brains behind this, and that's what they got looking forward to them. And they're wrestling people, and that's you listen to the old podcasts, and you talk about the failure of WCW, and you talk about the time during the Turner era, and all just like Cornette goes into. It was less wrestling people and more business types. Less wrestling people, more business types. And this is all wrestling people. And hopefully they got enough business types to keep this money flow coming because there's a lot of potential here.
Well, the Khan family, like you said, you looked it up. They're like $6 point something billion family. And so they got the funds there. And it was, I saw Meltzer, I believe, said it's the largest entity to enter the wrestling business since Turner, purchased WCW way back when.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. I mean, like I said, there's tons of stuff here we got to go through. So I'll kind of give it to you in doses, and then we'll kind of go back and forth on it. I guess that's the only way we can do this. Is, I mean, obviously there is no date right now, but Double or Nothing kind of, I think, is going to be their first show. It seems, maybe. Looks like it's going to spring of 2019 is kind of going to be their target date. Do we basically call it Double or Nothing is all into?
Yes, Double or Nothing is all into. I'm waiting to see how they prepare for it, though.
And you saw the irony is on the bottom of that picture. You brought it up. Some of the people sponsoring it, Starcast was in the corner.
Yes, so that basically means there's going to be another Starcast, which apparently is a good thing from everything I heard.
Yeah, Starcast 2 maybe at spring of 2099. That's a shorter window. So when they say spring, I love the way spring is kind of loosely defined. You're going to have about a 3-month window to put spring to the test.
And you got the people who make our T-shirts.
Yep, Pro Wrestling Tees. Yep. And that's, right now I'm sporting Pro Wrestling, Tapped Out Wrestling shirt. You can always go to prowrestlingtees.com/Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. We've got the Women Are Like Wrestling shirt. We've got the I Tap That shirt, and of course the logo tee as well. But here's the challenge I think AEW faces right now. All Elite Wrestling, there is no TV deal now. Meltzer says there's multiple rumors out there or offers out there, but right now they don't have one. But and the rumors are they're going to chase the Tuesday night slot because eventually SmackDown moves to Friday. People are creatures of habit, right?
Yeah.
We all look forward to watching our wrestling Tuesday night.
Yeah.
If you've built that habit for all these years and now that slot's open, just slide right in there somewhere and people, just slide right in and start watching it.
Yep. I think it's a good idea. I just want to see something. I need to see something before they start pay-per-viewing, unless they're going to do that TNA model that TNA did when they first launched, where every show was a pay-per-view. I got to see more. I got to find out what they're doing. I'm excited, but I don't understand. And I have a feeling they're going to explain this all to us very well.
Sure, January 8th, 5 p.m. at the Jaguar Stadium. I'm sure there's going to get a little more in depth. I'm thinking they go the other route. I just think Double or Nothing is the launching pad. They build a pay-per-view. They hype the hell out of it like they did All In, and that's your launching pad. And then after that, you get your show.
These guys are masters of social media, and I think that's what they've got going for them. The whole elite being the elite and all that, and it's a very closely cultivated social media thing they do. So I'm hoping that that'll be something that works for them.
Well, I mean, they had such a great success with the Fight app for All In. I mean, and again, look right above me if you're watching the video. It's the logo's right above me. The Fight app is something we support wholeheartedly. You can actually use our link to go sign up. It's on our website. Go to tappedoutpod.com and use the link to go there to sign up, and we kind of help support the show. But maybe that's it. Maybe that's where their show starts.
Saturday night, after I get home from the Southern Fried Show, I'm going to slide down to the basement and fire up the Fight app and watch the NWA pop-up show. It's pretty awesome that I can do that. That's the Fight app is to me the most convenient way to watch anything besides WWE programming, because you get Ring of Honor, you get Impact, you get all that good stuff on there. So
no, I agree with you 100%. But like I said, go to our website tappedoutpod.com, click on the fight logo. It'll take you there and then sign right up. And then going forward, like I said, it doesn't cost you anything, just to help us out, right?
We get a trickle. We get a little bit of money every time you purchase something, every time you look at something.
Yeah, going forward, every time you're doing the AEW stuff, man, awesome. It helps us out. But so some of the more
elite. Yeah,
you'll be part of the elite as well. The Cody is rumored to have already signed his deal, and rumors are it's an executive producer role for events, maybe TV down the road. I know you had mentioned off air you were kind of interested. The Bucks hadn't signed their deal, but obviously they're not going to do the video if they're not involved.
They're not going to hold out.
No, I think that's just because they're doing some of the traveling. I know, they're doing the Japan stuff and all that, so they're going to be tied up in.
They still want to work with New Japan. which is fascinating to me because New Japan would have to break off their deal with Ring of Honor to do that. But if All Elite signs Kenny Omega, they'd be stupid not to work with them instead of Ring of Honor.
I don't know, and see this. I don't know enough about their deals. It is the Ring of Honor exclusive. You know, I mean, is that deal?
I don't really. I from the looks of it, somebody was saying like, oh, they can't work with both of them because they're going to be in competition. But they've worked with TNA or Impact over the years. Ring of Honor's worked with Impact, and
It can happen.
Well, you can still work with Lucha Underground if they're going to be. If Lucha Underground is going to be around, you can work with them too. You can work with MLW for Christ's sake.
Down the road, you never know. And I mean, but with, obviously with Cody already signed, Bucks clearly are in. Hangman Page is clearly in. But you brought it up, so let's go ahead. We'll segue in here just a hair and come back to the All Elite stuff. The rumors flying around that I saw that Meltzer put up on the Observer is that Kenny Omega has a meeting with the WWE following Wrestle Kingdom 13. Dude, if he has not declined an offer officially yet from WWE. They like to make a big deal that Skrull hasn't either, but I'm like, he's got a year left on his deal, so on his Ring of Honor deal, so it's irrelevant, what he does as far as WWE. But man, there's a rumor. I mean, the rumor number they're throwing out is a $3.5 million downside guarantee, and allow him to pursue other things, and the contract can grow. And they are apparently sending AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, and Xavier Woods on recruitment mode to try to get him in.
Well, AJ knows him from Japan. Xavier Woods is big into gaming, and you said that Kenny would want to get into the gaming business. But I just don't see where they're going with bringing. I can't see Omega in the WB.
I totally do.
How?
The dude put him on SmackDown. I mean, because that's always been kind of the worker, brand, where I think he could do really good stuff there. Because let's be blunt, Styles is going to Raw. When they move at some point, he's not going to be on SmackDown anymore. He's going to be on Raw. So he slides into that role.
He's the face of the company, in my opinion.
I'm not saying he's the face of the company. I'm just saying that he's, he becomes that one of those top tier guys that you put over there.
But you're going to have your money coming from SmackDown.
Look, let's be honest with you. The money's going to be where it's at. I guarantee you, this is going to be real simple. We're going to discuss a guy later. That guy's going on SmackDown, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, which we'll get to John Cena later.
Yeah.
He will be on SmackDown.
Well, Kenny Omega, I mean, it's the case of do they know what to do with them? Because look at the last small white guy they signed from Japan, Finn Balor. Massive flop.
I wouldn't say he's a massive flop. I mean,
relations win, but as far as the wrestling crowd, they haven't done anything with him.
I just think he hasn't connected yet. Multiple things, but we're actually, believe it or not, we're going to get to that as well later. But the other rumors are, is Jericho involved? And we just talked about. Let me ask you this: we've heard numbers from sources what Chris Jericho may want one day to go go
like a Lesnar deal, right?
Okay, so let's put it this way: if Kenny Omega is worth $3.5 million downside guarantee, Jericho is clearly worth that number that even we heard.
Yeah. I looked at Jericho's schedule for next year. It was on one of the posts. He has 3 dates booked all of next year: 2 Fozzy concerts and his cruise. That's all he has booked in 2019. He is the ultimate free agent for the year.
And everybody's talking about he's going to end up, at All Elite. And I hate to be, and I'm not being negative here, but they need somebody like Chris Jericho.
It would be a huge win if they could sign Jericho.
Yeah.
I think it's a deal breaker or a deal maker to get Jericho.
I mean, and all the rumors kicked around this week because apparently Tony Khan got Jericho tickets for that Vikings-Bears game. So
yeah, that, and apparently more than just tickets, like a fan experience and all that.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's be blunt. If that's what he's pulling off, maybe that's the woo process. They're trying to woo him into the, into it or whatever. And, yeah. So, who knows? But if nothing else, it's a possible home for all your disgruntled WWE, Ring of Honor, Impact, talent that's just kind of, hey, we just never really had anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
Now they do. And that's always been a good thing that,
Info, Big Cast reunion.
I don't know that you're going to get those, but I'm just saying, but there are people that, hey, let's be honest with you. And we're not knocking the WWE. It's sometimes the roster's just too crowded. We've had the conversation before. It could be really simple of, they're all buddies with Zack Ryder. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Zack's where he is in WWE, and I hate to be that guy. Zack Ryder's not going to be anything more than he is. Should he be? I don't know who determines that, but guess what? He's not. So maybe he ends up over on All Elite, and they give him a good shot, and he goes somewhere.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a definite possibility. I mean, the guy's a good wrestler. There's nothing wrong with his talent. It's just been getting him in. He's another white guy he's a big white guy that's attractive and he works well, but he's just not connected. There's 1,000 guys on the roster just like that.
Well, I know there was a tweet about he has not had a match on Raw this year.
That's tough.
He's been on like main event. He's done other stuff, but not Raw.
They let him win an Intercontinental Championship. Was it last year or year before last?
It was a couple years ago. And here's the challenge, though. He's so damaged from all the losses, and that he in people's minds now he's an enhancement guy.
He's a goof.
And so he may need to go away, a la Drew McIntyre. He maybe needs to go away for a while, build up something somewhere else, and then come back sometime down there, or maybe not come back. Maybe he's happy with All Elite, and that's where he ends his career.
Put a mask on him.
Something. It always works, right?
Yes.
But that's All Elite, man. I mean, there's a lot to cover, but ultimately we're not going to know everything for a while, obviously. But we're going to know more January 8th, 5 p.m. I think it's going to be, obviously, it's free to attend, and they're going to stream it somewhere. I got a feeling it's called a YouTube channel called Being the Elite or something, or they'll stream it on The Fight. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Facebook, who knows, right? But, hey, we mentioned a couple before because we're going to kind of move on a little bit from All Elite. I did want to ask you about the rumor that we heard that Impact Wrestling, that meeting they had a while back with the WWE, we kind of made a couple assumptions of like, why would they be there? Why would they be working with, why would they be meeting them? And here's the funniest thing. How many times in the last few months have I said the best thing they could probably do for Impact is to be on the network?
You make good assumptions, Nick.
And, clearly now Meltzer, the Observer, they're all saying that was what the meeting was about. That it was about putting them on the network. WWE would get a stake in the company, but how much? And that ultimately was the downfall, is they couldn't agree to the percent of the company that WWE would get. And that's why it's not there. But think about it. They'd still be able to run pay-per-views on their own. Mm-hmm. Think about this. You could put pay-per-views and they could put them on the network for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could use it as an advertising model, and and then you would get pay-per-view revenue somewhere else. They could continue to be on the Fight app. They could continue to be on pay-per-view alone, right?
Oh yeah, it's great for them. Yeah. Great exposure. 1.5 to 2 million subscribers on average, and it's a platform for wrestling fans. And you don't have to worry about selling ads because you'd be getting Vince money. And they sell the ads, and you get Snickers really satisfies you, and you get Snap into a Slim Jim, and you get Cricket Wireless.
Well, we don't know what that's the biggest piece of that we don't know is how would they be like reimbursed, or how would they be, how would that generate revenue for them, being on the network. But let's be honest with you, what really are you getting on the and like I'm not knocking the Pursuit deal. We know it's temporary. we understand that, but even at Pursuit, like on Pop, it was a barter deal.
Yeah.
How much were you really generating? Part two, how much are you generating on a network that's your own, that your parent company owns a stake of? Is it a barter deal, or do you make money? Who knows, right?
Well, that's a Ring Honor type deal. You're on a network you already own, so your content for the network, you're giving them something to sell advertisement on, and it might be the biggest thing you have on the Pursuit channel, because I've never watched the Pursuit channel. I'm sorry. Have you
Well,
ever?
I mean, you got to be a hunter, really. I think.
Well, I tried hunting for years, and it turned out it was cold, and I was always worried somebody was going to shoot me, and so I quit doing it. I like to fish though.
Yeah.
So they fish on the Pursuit Channel, don't they?
Yes, they do. So that's
Or
a,
they just chase things?
who knows. But I going back to the point, right? That the network would have been a great home
Yeah.
Thursday night. It probably would have been that block because if they're going to have, or who knows, they could have been looking to replace Tuesday, putting a show on Tuesday night
Yeah. To give you something to compete against all elite wrestling.
or whatever, or whatever's there, right?
Yeah. Well, there's going to be some consolidation. The wrestling business will expand, and then it will consolidate, and things will settle back out. There'll be companies that make it and companies that don't. Anytime you launch something new, that's just going to happen in any business.
Yeah, and like AEW right now is showing everybody there's going to be tons of options in 2019.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. We've talked about Ring of Honor, we've talked about All Elite, we've talked about WWE, we've talked about Impact, all these New Japan.
Oh, I've got to eat a hat. I remarked that the New Japan show in Charlotte would not be a big deal. It would not sell, and it sold out. So I have to admit my wrongness in this. I thought Charlotte, being Flair country, and the traditional Southern wrestling, New Japan would not play, and they sold out in Charlotte. So I am wrong, totally wrong on that, and that's a good sign.
It's a good sign until Kenny's not there, or the Bucks aren't there, or and I know people are like, but who knows? Maybe they will be there.
We'll see.
If All Elite works with them, maybe they will be there. But where I was going with it, man, is it's not just that; it's the indie scene.
Yeah.
The indie scene is just awesome right now. It's my notes I'm really wrote on here is like, these are the stars of the future. These are the guys you will see in All Elite. These are the guys you will see in Ring of Honor, the Impacts, and eventually, obviously, NXT, WWE, etc. It's the best value for your money, man. Especially if you've got kids. The meet and greet experience that you get with the wrestlers at these shows, you cannot get anywhere else.
Nope.
Trust me. And I've been to meet and greets with Ring of Honor. I've been, obviously with WWE, etc. It's hands down. It's really not. It's such an intimate environment that you just can't top it. I mean, some of our favorite places, obviously WrestleCade. We go to those things the weekend of Thanksgiving. Southern Honor and Southern Fried here in Georgia.
Just the ability the wrestlers come out at intermission to sign gimmicks, and you get to talk to them. It's amazing. Just the amount of time you get to spend with these guys for free. It's a great feeling.
We recommend you throw $10 at them and buy an 8x10 or $20 and buy a shirt, right?
Yeah, a lot of great shirts flying around right now, especially in Georgia.
I agree. Well, I'm going to ask you. That's actually you. Speaking of Georgia, Larry Goodman over at Georgia Wrestling History wrote an article. It was kind of like the year end in 2018. We're not going to go into it all the way.
Good article, Larry, by the way.
Very good article. But some of the stuff I did want to mention is, he big shout out to guys that Georgia's talent, like Shug Dunkerton, Priscilla Kelly, Kiera Hogan, Ike Cross, AC Mack down on NXT, even, but I mean, obviously, all these guys making it across the board, making it outside of Georgia, not just nationally, but internationally as well.
Definitely.
Obviously, the golden boy is Austin Theory in that piece of the puzzle right now. Mm-hmm. That he's been an FIP champion. He's been an Evolve champion currently. Wrestling. He's going to wrestle Gargano coming up for soon, for crying out loud. I mean, huge plus for them. But that wasn't it. It was a huge year in indie wrestling in Georgia. Some cream rising to the top, some promotions not, being around anymore. PCW down in Porterdale, which we were fans of, we went and saw. AWE officially closing shop after show of the year at number 5. They're evolving, though.
Emerging.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know what that is. I don't understand their new model. I've looked at it a little bit. Hopefully I'll be able to find out what's going on, and we can go still and enjoy shows from them. I've always enjoyed every AWE product I've ever seen. And so hopefully we'll get to go enjoy whatever this combat sports entertainment thing is.
Yeah, Combat Wrestling. They've got some really weird point system or something and matches and stuff. But check it out. Anything that blacklisting those involved in is going to be pretty unique and different. So give it a shot. We'll see. It's coming up pretty soon. I know there's some shows, so check them out. But obviously, out of all the stuff going in coming out of Georgia, two new promotions come. Action Wrestling and Southern Honor Wrestling, kind of shoot onto the scene, making an impact right out of the gate. Has anybody made more noise than Southern Honor within their first couple of months?
Well, no, they have a great noisemaker though.
Sure.
P.T. Barnum of Canton, the man himself, Gary Lamb, has really put them over. Action Wrestling has done real well. That's something I really want to see. It's something the fans speak highly of. Have not been able to make it to a show yet because of my scheduling, but I'm going to try to get to one this next year. They're doing a lot of good things too. So.
Oh yeah, and they do a lot of fundraising stuff, which I'm obviously interested in. So. But Southern Honor, like you said, Gary and those guys up there, I mean, they're just, they're firing on all cylinders coming out of the gate. And then, of course, let's be blunt. So this weekend, on the 5th, we'll be heading over to Monroe to the top dog in Georgia, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling. Anybody can say what they want right now. No one consistently does,
the draw they do.
The draw they do. The storytelling that they do. Southern Honor, which will be at the 11th, which is the following week, they are probably, I'm trying to be nice to everybody else, but production value-wise, there's no one who touches Southern Honor Wrestling. Gary and those, like I said, with Dylan and all those guys over there, that just the production level's off the charts. But Southern Fried still, through all the adversity they had this past year, 2018, still is the top dog in the state of Georgia, in my opinion.
Definitely. Well, it's a proven history. It's a proven history of what they can do. It was a tough year with the passing of Charles. Charles, who was a friend to everybody who ever went to a wrestling show, whether you were a fan or a referee or a wrestler or a ticket taker or somebody who sold pork skins or something. His loss was a big deal, but they managed to take that and not let it to cripple them. They managed to fight back, and it's turned into an incredibly great year for them. Congratulations, guys. It's probably my favorite thing to go see. I can't wait till next Saturday. I'm so glad I'm falling back on a schedule where I'll be off again on the weekends that y'all run. Todd Sexton, easily Booker of the Year for Georgia, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I hope he wins that. So it's going to be a good year, and it's going to be better. Next year is going to be even better. It was a wonderful year for wrestling, especially in Georgia and the South, and I really do think 2019 is going to be better because there's so much potential, and people are doing so many different things now.
Well, it's all about change, man. 2019 seems to be it's the year of change in pro wrestling with all the stuff we've already talked about. And then, to dip over to Raw and SmackDown for a second, all the change that, the McMahons and Triple H promised.
Promo with Triple H and Seth Rollins?
What's that?
Did you catch that promo last night with Triple H and Seth Rollins?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was powerful.
But my only concern was did we start to see the quote unquote heel authority figure kind of starting to slowly climb back into the mix? Was Triple H trying to, I hope not, but that's what it kind of seemed. But that was my question to you, is are we seeing the change that we were promised on Raw and SmackDown?
We're seeing an appearance of change. We're seeing them making you think it's changing. I don't know if it's really changing yet, but they're selling me on the fact that they're doing something different.
Well, if nothing else, let's be blunt. You brought it up. The first live Raw is freaking loaded. I mean, they're bringing back Strowman returns, Cena's back, Brock's going to be there. I mean, it's so more so. But as far as the change goes, everybody hollers they want change. They want people to get an opportunity. But like Apollo Crews got a shot versus Dean Ambrose. The Revival's getting a shot next week on Raw. Rousey's still new. I mean, she's within her first year, man, and she's
doing phenomenal.
Very impressive. I agree. So on that Raw side, we're seeing it. SmackDown, Styles he won the shot. He's going to face Daniel Bryan at Rumble. Still kind of the same, but we saw a different AJ Styles last week.
Yeah.
We saw him hit Vince last week and take him out. And then of course this week on SmackDown, Becky Lynch gets the biggest rub because that's what we always talk about. We need the current stars to get a rub from the past of the superstars. Not two guys or two ladies that are big now. They need that rub from the stars of the past to kind of slowly bring them up. And for her to be in the ring with John Cena, in that tag match, and then the interactions before and after, couldn't have been any bigger than she was possibly anything anybody else could have given her.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's just me personally. Speaking of which, but John Cena's returned because obviously he returned this week on SmackDown. He's going to return next week on Raw. I mean, what's your thoughts on his whole coming back? I mean,
I'm anything Cena-esque, I'm a huge mark for. And I used to be a Cena hater, and I'd be like, "Bear God, blah blah blah, da 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 da, you suck." I didn't understand the essence of what Cena is and what he does. He brings a credibility and somebody who's a draw, and I respect the man's work. He is constantly, bringing more to the table than he takes away from it. He's a great wrestler. He's a great humanitarian. He's becoming a great actor on top of it. He's a franchise player.
Well, he offers so much. I mean, just from the, obviously from the ratings issue that everybody likes to bring up or whatever, that's hopefully he can boost that. Clearly the whole resurgence of the interest in the product. They're John Cena fans who haven't probably watched because he's gone. Yep. He's going to draw more kids. I'm excited to see some of the potential matches because his last time he left and came back, we saw, him versus Styles was probably one of the best, trilogies.
That was at the Rumble. Was it a couple years ago?
Well, he had the trilogy. He had the 3 matches that they put, back to back to back, which were awesome. Maybe it's time for him to do something like that with Finn Balor. Maybe that's what put Finn Balor over the top. You talked about it earlier, how he's not connecting. Nakamura, McIntyre. I mean, think about it. Everybody thinks McIntyre's the next guy. Okay, well then let Cena be the guy who essentially appoints him the next guy.
I love the fact that Cena is able to go work on something else and make movies and come back with the amount of credibility that he can make somebody's career. That's the best statement you can give to him. He doesn't have to wrestle maybe twice a year or 3 times a year, but when he comes back, he makes somebody. That's awesome.
I'm gonna tell you something and see how crazy you think this logic is. I don't think AJ Styles is where he's at now if he doesn't have that trilogy with John Cena.
I agree 100% with that. I have to agree 100% with that. That's awesome. I agree 100%. I can't wait to see what he's going to do when he comes back.
Well,
he makes guys.
Bully Ray he discussed on Busted Open Radio that he had an idea where maybe John Cena just needs to win that 17th title. Mm-hmm. Just go ahead and beat Ric Flair's streak. Because and he even suggested have Ric Flair involved in the angle, have him pushing him, telling him do it, man. Don't because Cena doesn't want to do it. He's such reverence for Flair, and Flair's But in the story that Bully puts together, he's like Flair slaps him and's like get out there and do it.
Yeah, I love that.
And a totally different twist. But so my theory is, why not let him win the Rumble? Let him be the guy to beat Brock. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, you got to do that. That would Brock is not efficient at the way he puts people over. It's just not. It doesn't work as well. Cena is able to. Cena's a storyteller. Cena is a icon. I think the best thing you can do is let him win that, reestablish his amazing credibility, and then have him put somebody else over. Best thing you can.
Well, it also gives, I hate to say it, because everybody craps on the Universal title. Those people that complain about that, it immediately gives credibility to the Universal title. Yep. That John Cena's holding that title. Definitely. So he beats the record. It's a big, huge moment for WrestleMania, which they need. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, he gives that title credibility, and then he goes on and he passes the torch to the next guy and anoints the next guy. Yep. I mean, because he openly said it in a tweet. His time is up. Somebody else's time is now. But to effectively, what we always talk about in wrestling, it takes that guy to pass the torch to actually do it. So
they've missed a lot of opportunities to quote unquote pass the torch lately, and I think it's something that they can do more effectively and make themselves better every year by coming back and doing that. So,
oh God, yeah, and I mean, but it's just I think right now they're lacking the star power on the men's side. I think
yeah.
Mania's got a lot of potential. You know, we all know where we think they're heading with the women, which is awesome. I mean, Becky clearly has to win the Rumble, clearly challenge Ronda, you know, for the title at Mania. Hands down, that's an easy story where we're heading and we get what we want.
But I love the drama of Carmella getting the last spot in there. You know, that just gets me for some reason.
Oh God, yeah. But I'll tell you one thing that needs to really happen. I read an article that I can't put over enough. Sportskeeda put out an article this past week, and it was 5 things the WWE Universe needs to stop doing in 2019. And
Not the WWE.
no, not WWE, the WWE Universe, the fans, and it hits pretty close to home because I agree with a lot of it.
Yeah, 100% on most of that. Yeah, definitely.
We'll go through it pretty quick. But number one, threaten to quit watching. If you're going to quit watching, just quit.
But I mean, if you're gonna, it's that holding people hostage. But you're not gonna actually quit. You're just gonna threaten and be a petulant child. Like, I'm gonna hold my breath till you let me have this candy bar. But you never spend a penny on anything else. I've said the thing: if you want to quit watching the WWE Network, take your $10 and spend it on one indie ticket a month. See if it doesn't reignite your wrestling passion.
Sign up for, Power Slam, Power Bomb TV. Sign up for, like I said, buy some stuff on the Fight app. There's plenty of product out there. Sign up for the global, for Impact Wrestling's network, the GWN, right? I mean, there's Ring of Honor. They have their they have the Honor Club. They have there's so many opportunities to do other stuff.
Don't just be a spoiled child. Is what I'm gonna say to that.
Absolutely. Quit threatening to quit. Quit and go find something that we talked about earlier. There's too many options out there for you not to find something else. Just do it.
Watch MMA. Do something else. And just don't be a bitch.
That was just a corrupt issue this past weekend as well. So I don't even want to get into it. But two really, being the father of 3 daughters, this one really, really hit home. Stop. I can't even say it. Stop disrespecting women superstars.
Yes.
I'll let you go first because I got a feeling I'll be ticked when I read one of mine.
Well, here's the thing. It's a sexualization issue where they're attractive women. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Everybody knows that. But if you show them less respect than you do a male superstar and you judge them based on their appearance instead of on what they can do in the ring, you're discrediting not only what they're doing, but you're discrediting yourself as a wrestling fan. You're becoming just a sexist jackoff.
You're becoming creepy.
Yes, exactly. Look at the Jordan Grace is somebody who I think is wonderful, and as a wrestler, but she posts and sells books of the tweets she gets and the private message she gets, and it's wild, folks. Why y'all got to do that?
I mean, it's just my whole thing is, and I know there's some. I don't want to say this because I think there might be some social media accounts that that we kind of are connected with in loose ways. But what frustrates me is, like you said, everybody wants to talk about how women's wrestling has evolved. It's now it's the future of wrestling. I mean, on and on
anymore.
But yeah, they're not in bra and panties anymore. But yet we want to put up a poll on a Facebook account, who's hotter, and then it's like 2 women in a bra and panty, and they want you to vote between these wrestlers. 2 women wrestlers, who's hotter? How about who's better?
Yeah.
And actually have them like, I get it. They wrestle in some stuff that some people are like, oh, well, that's pretty skimpy. Yeah, but when you put the picture in something where it's really, like I said, provocative, that's always the picture. It's always something that's provocative, not necessarily just what they're wearing, how they're posing and all that kind of
men stuff, for Christ's sakes. Their wrestling attire is not demure. I mean, they're basically out there in their underpants. It's the same thing. It's not different.
It's totally what they're wrestling in, and that's just it. And that just frustrates me to, and it's funny that pictures, they see. It's funny that some of the people, like I saw Camille, Camilla Kane, Camille, posted on her account, same thing. Like, why are you trying to get with me on, in my DMs or whatever by being, talking certain ways? And I'm like, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever. But anyway, I just get frustrated with the whole
I'm sorry, but it's almost as if men have forgotten how to act around women.
Have they? Wrestling fan? Man, we're going to stop there because I'll dig a hole for ourselves. But yeah, I think that we need to move on with that. And there's other extremes. So they're too busy sexualizing women that they can't be, reach the status.
They can't even appreciate what they're doing in the ring because they can't get their hands out of their pants.
But then on the other hand, we're bullying each other.
Yes.
We're too busy calling each other stupid because we don't like. I like because think about it, how many times have we said on the show, 205 Live guys aren't for me, and that's cool. But I totally get why people like it. You said it earlier, and I said it simple. The Young Bucks aren't for us.
Yeah.
But there's totally a generation of kids that it is totally for, and I completely get it.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't. You go to a show, and we'll just say 7 to 8 matches on a show. If every match is for you, that's great. But the chances are 4 to 5 will be for you, and 2 to 3 will be for somebody else. And you don't shit on the whole show. You enjoy what you like, and you just don't. You go to the bathroom during what you don't want to see.
Well, we do like the same things. That's what I try to tell people. We like the same things. We just like it done differently.
Different flavors.
Well, give me your analogy off air when we talked about this was perfect. Eggs.
Yes.
Go ahead and give it to me. I'll let you.
I like scrambled eggs. You like fried eggs. My kids eat boiled eggs. I can't stand boiled eggs, but I like eggs. Doesn't mean that eggs something bad wrong with eggs. It's just how you make them.
Right.
I put me some onions in mine, a little bit of hot sauce. That's where I really like it. Some cheese. But say you fry them, and you fry them till the damn yolk is hard. That's to me, that's deathmatch wrestling. Okay. you just fucking burn the yolk. That's your deathmatch wrestling to me. A good runny yolk is your traditional 2 out of 3 falls. So it's all the same thing. It's the same product, folks. Let's just find what we like and watch it, and don't shit on the other stuff, because it's usually the same guys doing the other stuff.
Well, because all we're doing is we're creating a division, and like you said, we should all be bonding together over what we love. And from the outsiders looking in, here's the crazy thing: if you weren't a fan and you're trying to bring a friend in to be a fan, and they see the way the fans fight amongst themselves,
yeah,
from the outside, they probably go like, "It's probably not for me."
Well, you introduce a wrestling fan to wrestling introduce a person to wrestling is one thing. Introduce a person to wrestling Twitter is a completely different experience, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be so toxic. It shouldn't be something you're not proud of. So let's quit fighting among ourselves.
Absolutely. Number 4 things that we need to stop. We both mutually. We're not going to spend forever on this. CM Punk chants need to die.
Most chants need to die, definitely, but fuck CM Punk chants. Because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, you want? I got some reasons why. 1, he's not coming back.
No.
Now, could he go in All Elite? Maybe. He's not coming back to WWE, so quit chanting it.
I don't think he's going to ever work wrestling again. And more power to him if that's what he wants to do.
Here's my other one. I'm not even sure all the fans know why they're chanting his name. It's because everybody else in the building a bunch of other people started it, so they're all chanting with it. And I'm just kind of like, and my thing is, I get it. If you want to chant something meaningful.
Yeah.
If you're chanting CM Punk because you don't like what you see, chant boring or chant this sucks or whatever.
Bullshit.
CM Punk doesn't mean anything.
No.
Doesn't mean anything anymore.
I mean, it's not that he just fucked over Vince. He left wrestling fans too. Because he didn't go work for TNA, or he didn't go work for another promotion. And Lewis, when I say TNA, I mean TNA was concurrently what they called it at the time.
Yeah.
Jim would have left. I know it's Impact now. You and Jim jumping Jim McDougal. You eat your fish sticks together.
Yeah. But last but not least is getting mad at heel turns.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. We want to cheer the heels. We want to cheer who we want. Then we say they should be baby faces and they should be, so then they turn somebody heel and then we complain about like Ambrose. Are we just so PC now that like it was going too far involving Roman? Like all the Roman stuff, it was just too far. Last time I checked, I mean, people wanted to burn Jim Cornette's car to the ground with him in it.
Oh, I've heard stories of what they did. They took all the glass out of people's cars, fans did. They tarred and feathers cars. Tires were slit. Tires were punctured where you'd get down the road before it would run out of air. The horrible thing, fans, that's back when that's real heat. Now we just want to talk about how it makes us feel emotionally.
I mean, and they don't even want to deal with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan apparently wanted this character. And people are backlashing like the WWE did the worst thing ever by turning him heel. And everything's pointing to Daniel Bryan wanted this. He's an eco warrior. That's a joke. You like that? Not the ultimate warrior. He's the eco warrior.
Yeah, give us a break, folks.
And guess what? You're crapping on it and booing and hating it. He's doing his job.
And he's selling T-shirts because he's got a all new line of heel T-shirts.
Well, apparently his heel merchandise isn't selling as well. And guess what?
Well, heel merchandise
it shouldn't.
Supposed to sell. Heels never had merch until recently. I mean, I think the NWO is what really fucked up the whole heel face relationship.
Could be, yeah. I agree with that.
And I've got on my Kevin Owens shirt because I got it for $5 when everything went on clearance.
There's a difference. I've bought $5 heel shirts, from WWE, just because we can't find shirts in our size for $5 most of the time.
You get a 5X shirt for $5. I'm going to buy every last one of them. Even it just said dicks across the front.
We bought a Bailey shirt for $5.
Yeah.
And it's nothing a knock on Bailey. That's just, guess what? It's purple with a little yellow figure on it, and I bought it anyway because I wear it around the house for $5. Well, hey, we're gonna before we go home, I do want to. There was another article I wanted to address it. We're not going to go in length about it. I saw this article from Bleacher Report that Bobby Roode and 7 people that should turn heel. I'm not going to cover all of them. Like, we're not going to. Dave Mustache, he's NXT UK.
Not enough.
Yeah, we just don't. I don't know enough about him, and I don't want to. I crapped all over Zack Ryder earlier, and said it won't work. It's too late. He needs to move on and go somewhere else and reestablish himself. There's a couple that I wanted to ask you about. People are really not going to like my Bobby Roode. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one. I just think the gimmick was over in NXT, but it didn't translate to the man. Right? Glorious is over, and I don't mean like in a good way. Like it needs to move on. If he's going to go heel, shit heel, and move on.
Yeah.
I know Bray Wyatt. We're both in the boat of like he's a crappy babyface.
Horrible babyface.
He needs to be. Let me back up. I think it would work better. I don't say he should be. He needs to be the dark evil character, but without quite so much of that spooky, magic. It just with some followers. I think he works better that way.
Yeah.
The couple that I really I saw Asuka and Rousey on the list. I could see a badass heel Asuka.
Yeah, but not Rousey.
Well, here's the problem, Asuka. If she was a badass kicking everybody's ass, the fans are going to cheer for her.
Yeah.
Rousey, I don't really know that it works as a heel. It's too soon, unless we get that horsewomen angle that we've talked. If she's up against your Charlottes and your Beckys and your okay, it could probably work, and she really is going to have to get good on the. And I don't mean she's not horrible, but she's not great on the mic, and she's going to have to learn how to crap on the fans, basically saying MMA's better.
Yeah,
that's why she's learned so fast.
Yeah,
that's why she's so great. That's why she's.
That would be a great way to do it. You're right.
Yeah, just sitting there and talking about I'm the greatest because I'm an MMA. I'm not one of these girls over here doing wrestling. I'm an MMA fighter, and I'm the baddest woman on the planet, and I beat the shit out of these women.
Yeah.
So,
good.
It could work. The two that really struck home that I wanted to ask you about was, you talked about that Seth Rollins promo with Triple H earlier. Finn Balor's name's on this list, and I'm going to ask you, what about Finn Balor aligning with his guy Triple H, like being part of like that the heel authority, Seth Rollins?
It's worked before.
Yeah,
it's worked before. They got to do something with Finn, honestly, because I'm not going to shit on the whole tolerance thing, and I really like the fact that Finn Balor is an icon for tolerance or whatever he's going to be doing. But it's wrestling, folks. We need to sell a lot of merchandise. We need to make this guy evil and put him over, Four Horsemen style, if you have to. Put him in a faction. You know, you've still got all of the New Japan guys you've signed. You've got AJ, you've got the Anderson and Gallows. Put those guys together. Do a Bullet Club type thing. You've had it all along. Every time you tease it, people go batshit. Heels.
Well, they did the Too Sweet walking past each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a possibility down the road. You know, the other one that I really saw on the list and was kind of like, I kind of crapped on it, but then thought about it for a minute. I was like, maybe not, was The Miz. His recent babyface turn, you know.
It's not really a face turn. It's just him doing a little bit of wonky stuff.
Well, he's kind of, you know, the kissing up, and he's, you know, a little bit to the fans more, calling to the fans. You know, he's still got a little bit of the heel verbiage in there. You know, but him teaming with Shane's kind of going to by nature going to make him baby. But my thing is it can't last. He's a character you can't trust.
No.
At some point, is there a knife in Shane's back coming?
Well, also Shane's a heel. He's always been a heel. He's a true heel. Shane's a McMahon. McMahons can't be faces.
But the problem with Shane, everybody loves Shane.
Everybody loves Shane, but he's a great heel.
He's a great heel, but I think the fans love him too much. And I think that's why there was supposedly a heel turn coming with the Greatest in the World tournament, and they just abandoned that with this whole new change of direction where they were going. I just think that at some point, maybe Mania, we get Shane and The Miz for that trophy.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. We see something at Rumble. You get them in a tag match together because they're begging for a tag match, and have him just, you know, do Shane dirty, set him up, and then have somebody, because, you know, you need another tag team that would just beat the hell out of Shane, and The Miz just help or watch something like that to make the whole thing go over.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that The Miz is that heel that just, no matter, I know everybody forever was talking about him being a babyface. I just don't think that character is a babyface.
No, The Miz is Daniel Mazanian or whatever the hell his name. What is his name?
Mike
Mazanian could be a babyface, but The Miz is a heel.
All the way. But man, what else? I know you had a couple things you wanted to bring up before we get out of here. We're running long, so
got some free agency notes. DJZ and Trevor Lee are finished up with NXT. Not NXT.
Impact.
So they're going to be out on the market. Ring of Honor signed Beer City Bruiser back up, which will keep him away from all elite. So there's going to be a lot of people, and you're going to start seeing, with the amount of money floating around, you're going to start seeing some bigger contracts, and you're going to see people having to pay to keep people. Not just pay them every time. You're going to, like this Omega thing, you're going to pay $3 million for Omega, but the next time things come around, you're going to have to pay $3 million for like a mid-card guy.
Well, I don't think it's going to get, but like you said, but even Meltzer made the comment in that art, we talked about it earlier. There's just guys on the indie circuit that are just going to they're getting crazy offers because of the talent. It's getting sucked up, and that's you're going to see, it's kind of like it happens in baseball. It happens in basketball sometimes, and even football rarely, but it does happen where guys just get overpaid because you need that position player, and it's just like he's the best one out there. So you got
to keep him away from somebody else.
Yeah, and Vince has always been a king of that. You know, trying to sign people to NXT and UK and all that kind of stuff to keep them away. I did see Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and one of the other guys, I'm drawing a blank on his name, finished up all their indie dates in the UK. So they're exclusive NXT UK / NXT guys now. But that's kind of the market we're in. That's really where we're heading. So big changes. I mean, first show of 2019, so all the changes coming along. But some things don't change, man. If you try to find us, we're at Tapped Out Pod. I mean, that's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's Instagram, Snapchat. Tappedoutpod at .com's the website. Tappedoutpod@gmail.com's the email if you have any questions, comments, whatever. Then of course, man, we ask simply. iTunes, Google Play, iHeartMedia, Spotify, all those, anywhere you can find a podcast, that's where we are. We ask that you head over to Patreon at patreon.com/tappedoutpod. Subscribe, I mean, because you get cool stuff like we did the show prep before this show. We did it free this time. That's one of our paid member things, but we did it for free just to kind of give people a taste of what it is. So check that out. Get the interviews, all those either exclusive or early. And then, of course, last but not least, prowrestlingtees.com, /Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. Get a shirt. Got 3 of them there. Just nab them. I know it's after Christmas, so if you didn't get the one you wanted, jump over there and order it and get it hooked up, man, and take care of it. Because
if you send me a receipt as you bought a T-shirt, I'll call you, just like Tony Schiavone promises.
Yeah, we'll call you. We'll come up with something. I get the reports every month. I got the December's report today of all the shirts that we saw.
But
if they do, man, tell us you bought a shirt. Shoot us a message on Twitter at TappedOutPod or something on the Facebook, and we'll give you a buzz. Because also remember, over at Patreon, you can actually, if you sign up for a high enough tier, you can join this show. You can sit in for a show, and we'll go over, be part of one of the co-hosts for the week. But man, and I do want to. I don't know if people don't. I messaged you, so I was really excited about it. If you look to the middle of our overlay here on the video, it says awarded top 60 wrestling podcast in the world. We were 21 and we moved to 20. So now we're officially top 20. Thanks, Gary Lamb.
Eating it up.
Inching it up, man. So we appreciate all the support. 2019 is going to be a big year. Lewis is killing it with the interviews.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just talent after talent. And then last but not least, Greg, here's the deal. We aired the first one, huge success. It's a great editorial piece, and I got a message from him this morning that he's working on his second one, so that one will be up soon too. Hey, I know you and Jumpin' Jim don't get along all the time, ever. But Jumpin' Jim, he's been doing a stop and go, been shooting it in, and that's another Facebook/Patreon exclusive that we put on there. We don't put it on the podcast feed, so if you're not following us everywhere, follow us everywhere, man. Social media, Patreon, you name it. You got to follow us everywhere to catch all the content, right, man?
That's where we do it. We give you a little sprinkle here and there and sprinkle the magic dust on it. Make y'all love it.
Well, man, I'm looking forward to Saturday, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling next week, Southern Honor Wrestling up in Canton. But it's almost that time. So if I got nothing and you got nothing, man, what time is it?
Time to tap out.